Hey guys, how's it going? It's Zahait here, and we're back with a brand new episode of The Farmer Was Replaced, and I've been pretty busy with my coding here. In the last episode, I had kind of fixed up my polyfarm code. We discussed maybe a new approach on this whole programming thing, and some of you guys left me a few comments about how I could optimize just a few things. So I've kind of implemented some of them, and I didn't record it happening because I'm not gonna lie, it probably took me like 8 hours. And I don't know how to edit something like that. So anyway, I have done it all, and we're gonna go through like a little summary video here, hopefully, to see how all that's gonna work. This is all just test scripts. We don't need that. And this is kind of just garbage as well. But there's a few things that helped out a lot, and I'm just going to let you guys know. So I added, this is not how I type, additional. I added additional debug benchmark information, and let me just show you what that looks like. So now I've added spaces because things were just getting really janky. It was getting too hard to read. But now it's giving me my level, the unlock, the time to complete, the total time that has passed since the start of the game. It's also giving me what the upgrade took to farm and what my totals have been from the start. And I don't know why it's printing two of these things at the same time. Items.hey 200, items.hey 100. One of these is not supposed to be here, I don't think. I'm not, okay, I'm making a fool of myself already. What the heck am I printing? In subtotal, print totals. Print total totals. I'm not sure why it's printing this twice, but regardless, the intent was, the intent was, I think I'm printing the goal again. No, I'm not. I don't know what I'm printing. Okay, anyway, the intent was I was going to print my goals, and then I was going to print the total that I have farmed since the start of the game, so that when I got all the way to the bottom, I could see how much items I had farmed. And I busted something. This was not doing this before. I don't know why this is happening. Anyway, you'll notice some of these numbers are getting really big because it's keeping track of my totals. And here we are. Once we get to the very end, you'll see how many items that I've actually had to farm in total. Okay, so there we go. There's, just so you guys are aware, my new best time. I am 58 on the leaderboard. 38 minutes. We'll run you through some more of this stuff down here. So my total items farmed, I don't know what this is now. They're not even the same number. And the bottom one, I was going to say is not the total, but for some reason this one's bigger than this one. Okay, well anyway, that was what the intent was with the debug. None of that actually matters. None of that actually matters. One of the big changes that I've made is my unlock list. My current unlock list, I'll show you guys here. You can pause it if you want. There's all the way down to carrots level 3, and then here we go from carrots level 3 all the way down to maze level 2, and then maze level 2 to the leaderboard. That's my current unlock list. So if you want to see what I'm using, go ahead, pause the video there. My previous list had some weird stuff where I was trying to unlock, for example, expand, but I didn't have the carrots. So I was trying to farm up all the stuff to unlock expand, and then I was attempting to unlock it, but it wasn't actually doing anything. So I was kind of wasting time doing that, and there was a couple other issues in there. So I've cleaned it up, I think, which helped a lot. So additional benchmark thing, I mean, I showed you guys, it's all jank. So we'll just ignore that. Added a hard-coded number of seeds. This actually saved me a pile of time. So if we go in here and we go to farm totals, I have just hard-coded a number of seeds. So pumpkin seeds right here. And I've set it to do this once I have unlocked speed level 7, because that is right before I unlock the next pumpkin level and the price of pumpkins goes up, or the price of pumpkin seeds goes up. And then I've done that same kind of thing here for cactuses. I am buying a number, and you always have to have the number. For the way my code works, if I don't have the right number of cactuses to do a whole farm size, then it kind of breaks. So I've just done this so I could iterate until I found a number that worked for me, 14 times the number of tiles. And then we did the same thing, I think, with carrots too. Carrots. So as soon as I have unlocked speed level 3 and my number of carrots is less than 20, which I don't know if this needs to actually be here or not, but anyway, I had to set it to something so that we could initiate this. My carrot seeds, I'm buying 1,200. Again, this is right before I start leveling up my carrots, and my carrot seed price starts to skyrocket. So this actually saved me a pile of time, and thank you guys for leaving that suggestion in my comments. That was 10 out of 10. Added hard-coded numbers for seeds, so let's get rid of that. Pre-purchased bulk seeds before upgrading skills. Okay, we just talked about that. Set a condition to not farm flowers at the end of the run. I was wasting a little bit of time right down in here. Farm flowers. Where's my flower farm? Here we go. Right down here, once I farmed certain things, I'd do all my pumpkins, for example. I'd do all my cactuses. I'd level up the cactus, and then I'd run back through this loop, and I would farm a bunch of power, even though all I had to do was slap down some bones, and we were done. So it was wasting a little bit of time, especially because at the end of the run, I usually had some extra power left over anyway. And my power goal is just like a minimum that I want to always have more than. It's not 0, so I was farming power for almost no reason. So I basically told it if my upgrade list is less than 4, that I don't want it to farm. I don't want it to farm flowers. So we got rid of that. Got some room to play with that as well. My code is starting to get really janky because there's like certain things that I want to change, and I don't want to refactor my whole code to do it. So I'm just kind of making it work. I'm just kind of hacking it together. Definitely not recommended. But it's getting the job done for now, and I will tell you guys at the end of this, I've got some pretty big plans here. So replant flowers when harvesting 13 petals or more. This number is variable. I don't even know if it's still at 13, honestly. But if we go to my flower code, you guys have been telling me I should be replanting flowers, because if the flowers themselves, you get the number based on how many flowers are on the field. So basically, the maximum amount of flowers that you get is right at the start. The first flower that you take off the field gives you the most amount, and then every single one you take out after that gives you less and less and less and less and less. So what I've done is I've just set a number in here that if I'm farming flowers that are 13 petals or more, basically, then I'm going to replant after I dig it out. And I wanted to set this as some number, because otherwise you just end up planting. Like if I'm down to 8 petals or something and I plant, it's most certainly going to have more petals. So I have to just sit there and wait for it to grow, which is not great. It's just not great, because we can't do anything while we're waiting for that. So I've kind of made it a variable that I can kind of change and play around with as I go. And then down in here is where we're actually doing that stuff. So we're moving to, if the number here is just the number that I'm iterating to. If it's like count, basically. If number is greater than max allowable and total of power is greater than power, then we are checking if we can harvest it. If not, we are watering it. If we can, then we are harvesting, planting, and then we have to make sure that the one that we planted is not the biggest one on the field. So while measure is greater than number, while not can harvest water, else harvest, and then plant another flower, and then we're just going to keep doing that until measure is not greater than number, and then we know it's not the biggest one on the field anymore. So that's that. If it is the biggest one on the field, we are appending it to our list so that we can come back to it after, and we can go deal with the rest of them. And I don't know if I have a code set up to kind of show you guys what that looks like. I can make one really quick. It won't take long. Execution, world size, set farm size, world size, farm flowers. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. And it's just planting all the replanting. You know what? This is way too fast. Let's slow this down so you can see what's going on. We'll go a little bit slower. Maybe not like super slow, but a little bit slower. So what it's doing is it's iterating through all the flowers that have 16 petals. It's going to farm them, replant them, and make sure that what they've planted has less than 16 petals. And then once it's gone through them all, then it can't do the 15s yet, so it has to wait for them to grow. And yeah, I guess once you get down to a certain number, which I've set to 13, it just harvests the rest of them in an attempt to save time. I don't know if it actually... There's got to be some magic number here that makes the most sense. And it might be based on farm size, actually. I'm not exactly sure. It's probably something that's based on farm size. But anyway, that's how that's working. At some point, I figure it's faster to just chop down the rest of the flowers than to plant one flower and sit there and wait for it to grow. And I know we could fertilize it, we could do all that stuff, but when you fertilize it, you get rid of water, and fertilizer only upgrades the plant speed by 2 seconds. So it's not instant. People have been telling me that it's instant. It's not. It's just 2 seconds right there to instantly grow the plant under the drone by 2 seconds. So sunflowers, I think, take... I can't remember how long they take, like 5 seconds. So it'd take like almost 3 fertilizer. And that's expensive. Like, that's really expensive to farm. 10 pumpkins per fertilizer. So to grow 1 pumpkin is costing you $30. Or 30 pumpkins, I mean. So I don't think fertilizer is the way to go. I don't know. That's just me. That's just what my gut is telling me. But it might be wrong. So anyway, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think of all that. But that is my new flower code. I'm pretty happy with it, and it's adjustable. So if I, for some reason, decide, you know, 13's not high enough, we want to go to, like, well, maybe 8's too low. Let's go to 10, and we can speed this up, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So now there's going to be a lot of time where it's just sitting there because it's going to run out of stuff to do. And it kind of just has to keep farming the same flower over and over again. So I feel like it's a waste of time, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's faster. Because, I mean, you know what? Maybe it is faster still. Because this flower is giving me 5 times 5. I think 25 petals for that one. And if I was to farm this whole field... No, I'd get more than 25 flowers, though. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is still faster to just keep this thing really low. But anyway, we'll leave it like this for now, and there we go. We got below 10, so then it started doing its thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, drop me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on that whole situation. Feels pretty good, man, though. That was a great one. Thank you again for that tip. Upgraded Polyculture to not add companions for things that I do not need. And upgraded Polyculture to not harvest things that I don't need and are not in the square of a tile that is needed for companions. So let's break that down a little bit. Where's my polyfarm code? Polyfarm. Let's start the upgraded Polyculture to not add companions for things that I don't need. So that was happening right down in here somewhere. Determine priority. Nope. After that. So here we go. So when I'm running my main code, this is my main code down here. And while not have hay, not have carrots, blah, 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 we are running all of this code. And if the entity that I'm on, which is just get entity type, is equal to grass and I do not have hay, or it is equal to carrots and I do not have carrots, or it is equal to bush or tree, and I do not have carrots. Whoopsies. That's a bug. And I do not have wood. Look at this. See, we're catching some stuff as we go. And I do not have wood. Then we are getting the companion because we need the companion. So if we don't need the companion because none of this mattered, then we are not getting the companion, and we are just moving to the next location, and we're not appending that to our list, and we just don't care about it. So that is that. And then the next thing that we're doing, still eat that, upgrade Polyculture to not harvest things that I don't need and are not in the square of a tile that is needed for companions. So what that means is right here. So if my current location is in the companion list, and the companion for the plant that I'm on right now is not equal to... Wait a minute. This is not what I wanted to check. If the companion is not equal to the companion list at current location, I think what we want to do is check if the entity is not equal to the companion list at the current location. Yes, because if it is, then we want to leave it alone. I think that's better. So if it is in the list and it is not the companion for something else, then we are harvesting, or we're checking if we can harvest. Then we're harvesting, planting companion. That's all the same as before. But then if the current location is not in the companion list, current location not in companion list, then we are making sure that the same thing that we did down here, basically. Then we are going to check that the entity that we're standing on is something that we actually need. And if it's not, well, if it is, then we're going to harvest. And if it's not, then we're just kind of moving on. So we're not even going to waste time harvesting and planting and doing all that stuff. And I don't know if that is better or not. It's actually probably worse because we're wasting time not harvesting it when we could plant something that we do need. Maybe we don't want to do this. Maybe we'll just get rid of all this and put it back to else. So we're going to check if the current location is in the companion list and the entity is not equal to the proper companion. And if it is not, then we can just do all this stuff as we were doing before. Can harvest, plant, get entity type, water. Okay, that should work. That should all be nice. So there was 2 bugs in here. This was wrong, and I think this was wrong. I don't know if that's actually going to speed us up or not, but we can give it one more go and see how that works. I think that's all of the stuff that I've changed. And basically, I can't remember what the time was in the last episode. I think we were still like just under an hour. Now we're getting kind of close to half an hour. It's definitely getting faster. This was, a code I was copying around so that I could, in case I made a huge error, I could fix it. Now the other thing is this is also running our farm flowers with a maximum allowable of 10, which I am still not totally sure is faster, but it's going. Now you'll notice I have way too many carrots. Why do I have so many extra carrots? 1,003 carrots. But what I was going to say is you'll notice that I don't have many eggs left over. I hardly have any gold left over. Cactuses are kind of just what they are. When you farm the whole field, you end up with more or less. And these ones are all part of my polyfarm code, so they kind of happen sometimes. But I have 0 cactus seeds left over. My pumpkin seeds are very low. This number here is way too high. 1,000 carrot seeds are left over. Now I think that is probably because I'm maybe not buying enough in here. So let's like add 200 more. And then maybe this condition will never happen. I think what's happening is we're going beyond speed level 3 and my seeds are getting too low. So I'm buying an extra 1,200 seeds, which is probably costing me a little bit of time. What I want to see is this number go up to like 1,400 or whatever, one really big number, and then never go back up again. It's just one time. All right, I think we did it this time. 39. It was even slower though. Oh boy. There's a lot of variability in the code now, because the polyfarm code is like, man, if you get super lucky with where things spawn or where the companions have to go, then you just kill the time. And otherwise, you just don't. Otherwise, you just don't. So anyway, that being said, I think we're kind of at a standstill. I mean, we're not going to be making a whole lot of extra progress with the way my code is currently happening. So I have a little bit of a surprise that I've been working on, and you guys are going to hate me for this because it's not probably good practice at all. But I've started a new code, and like I was mentioning in one of my previous episodes, I am trying to look at it as like a phased approach now, because there's instances, and let me just run this one more time really quick at the start so we can talk about it. There's instances in here when I start to farm certain crops and my guy is just sitting or just doing stuff and he's just wasting time. See this? It's not a lot of time, but it's still wasted time. So stuff like that I'm trying to resolve, and I'm doing it by like hard coding the beginning of the game, and I don't know about all this. We've got some constants in here for now because this is the times that it takes for crops to grow, which you can actually find in the game now. They actually added it in somewhere. Carrots, sunflower, here we go. For example, base growth time between 4 and 6. So I've just taken the maximum number of the crops and I've put it in here. Flower. So that's the maximum. No matter what, if I wait 6 seconds, my flowers will be done. So that's the dream. So anyway, that's kind of what this is all about. Then we are setting some variables. Right now I only have one, but I'm assuming there's going to be a pile more here by the time this is done. Then phase 1 is just like the very start of the game. There's really nothing to do. It's unlocking speed, it's unlocking expand, it's unlocking plant, and it's unlocking expand 2. And then I have to upgrade my world size variable because we've just expanded twice. And then in here, we're going into phase 2, which is unlocking speed 2, carrot 1, grass 1, speed 3, and trees currently. And this is the part I'm not happy to show you guys. I'm literally hard coding it in. So at least currently I am. This could probably be a function, like a local function. Same thing here. Same thing here. It's like the same thing every time. So all I got to do is feed in the cost. So I might clean this up a bit. But for now, I was just trying to get this to work out and see if we could actually save some time. So how far do we get here? Just for science. We get to trees. And I should probably put a 1 here. We get to trees 1. And then the same thing here. Again, I hard-coded this. I'm sorry. I can imagine the comments I'm going to get. I've hard-coded it for now. I'm sorry. Anyway, it works. So it's working. Now, why does this say 106? That seems wrong. I don't know why that says 106. Let's change it to 100. Maybe. I don't know. I probably just broke everything. I'm sure I did that for a reason, but I don't know why. So now, let me show you what this looks like so that you can see what I'm talking about. So what this looks like is this guy is going to just do some stuff, and then he is going to, come on, unlock some stuff. He's unlocked his speed upgrade now. He's just doing his thing. Okay, now, I've done some testing, and it's faster for him to just stay here and farm this than it is for him to move at this point in the game, because moving takes operations and time, and he can actually just farm this faster than he can move and farm this one. So that's why I'm doing this. But eventually... There. Now, instead of wasting time waiting for my bushes to grow, we're able to farm some hay, which is great. We're not wasting time. We're constantly harvesting things at all times, which is 10 out of 10. Now you'll see this kind of strategy is going to keep going. And I don't know exactly when to stop the hard coding and go back into, you know, my farming stuff that we were doing. But here's my code. He's going in, and now he's got some stuff there for wheat. And I could probably turn this into wood, actually, because it looks like when you get a 3x3, he's basically farming it as fast as it's growing. But anyway, I've also gone back to the staggered movement because it saves you 200 operations every time. If you have to move 2 times, like if I go up here, wrap around, and then move that way, it's 200 operations per movement. So it saves me 200 operations every time I'm wrapping around the world, which I think over the speed of, or over the time of a run is going to add up. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about is if wrapping around the world actually is slower than just staying on the world. I don't think it is. I think moving from here all the way around to here is the same speed as moving from here to here, but I'm not totally sure about that, so don't quote me on it. But anyway, so there's that. This guy's just gonna keep farming, and eventually, I don't know exactly how far we get. We unlock trees, so he's starting to do carrots. It's the same thing. It's basically the same code, except now the carrots take a little bit longer than the bush, so he's able to sit here and farm a little bit of extra wheat. And, I mean, yeah, it's kind of just doing this over and over. Now I've unlocked the trees, or I haven't yet, but at the point of my code where when it stops, I have unlocked trees. Yeah, that's it. Now we're just doing flips. So, I think I print the time, or I used to print the time. I guess I'm not printing it anymore, or where is the time? There it is. Delete changelog. Yes. Okay, so 35818. I don't know what that actually works out to in minutes. That is basically 6 minutes? That can't be right. Is that what we were at? 6 minutes to unlock trees. So someone is beating the game in 11 minutes from now, basically, where I'm at. And I don't know how I could have possibly done this any more efficiently. I'm not wasting any time. The only thing is, maybe I don't need certain upgrades. So I don't know. We'll have to play around with it a little bit. But that's where I'm at. I apologize in advance for my disaster of hard-coding the... hard-coding the first bit, but it is what it is. I think at some point we're going to swap back. I don't know what phase that's going to be, but we're going to swap back to doing this stuff. But we'll have to figure that out at some point. Anyway, that is where I'm at right now. My current train of thought with where I want to take things. And my current record. So, yeah, creator. How dare you? 17 minutes. Ay, 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 man. That is crazy. Where's Plystire these days? There you are. 32:27. I'm coming for you. I can't wait to see what you have to say about this. Okay, anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up right there. I hope you're loving the series so far. I can't wait to show you my speed run here at some point. It's going to happen. I probably am not going to go through too much of the actual coding, but it's going to take me a long time. Like, we're talking days, probably. Like, this next episode is going to be a while, I think. But when I get there, we can run it through. We can see how it does it. Maybe I'll be able to bump Plystire out of his seat, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, I hope you love the series so far. If you are, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and I will see you next time.